Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP. Bitcoin had a weak upward session yesterday, a higher high, a higher low, although it didn't manage to make a new high above 24th of November. It was an upward session, it closed green and it has pushed from volume, so the volume profile remains bullish. I'm adjusting resistance from 38,000 straight to 38,500. That looks like to be a little bit more conservative. I want to see a close above resistance at 38,500 before I have confidence that this sideways consolidation is over. Until that happens, we have to understand that the trend has slowed, that price is moving sideways with resistance about 38,500, support about 35,000. Yesterday had a little bit of a push from volume, but overall as price moves sideways, volume is declining. This range on balance volume continues. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll look for a break above the yellow resistance line or below the purple support line to provide a signal. ADX is now really close to 45. If this consolidation continues, it's going to bring ADX below 45 and out of danger territory, setting itself up again for the strong bullish run. With no clear trend, the model of stochastics plus support and resistance expects overall a downward swing until stochastics reaches oversold and price reaches support about 35,000. Although stochastics, the last couple of tests of support, hasn't got down that low, it's only gotten just above the 50 mark, so that might be the way this consolidation unfolds. Overbought to halfway, overbought to halfway. The consolidation has brought RSI out of danger territory. It's back in neutral, but it's still above 50. Likewise, money flow is still above 50, although in neutral territory. Someone asked a really good question in comments that I'll address in today's video using Ethereum as an example. Why is the fourth wave disproportionate to the second wave? He was asking the question on my XRP wave count, and I'll show you when I get to that what the problem he saw there was, but this is why I don't see a problem with disproportion here. I'm long used to analysing commodities, particularly gold, but also oil and silver. I've been analysing them for many years, since about 2010, 2011, I think, on a daily basis. And it took me a while to wrap my head around this, but gold will exhibit brief, shallow fourth waves in comparison to second waves of the same degree within the same impulse. It'll do that because it has blow-off tops and selling climaxes. What that means in Elliott Wave terms is it does that because the fifth wave is really, really strong. When the fifth wave is very, very strong, it'll force the fourth wave that comes just before or just after to be more brief and shallow than the fourth wave may otherwise be. Here's a beautiful example of this tendency in Ethereum. I'm used to this in commodities, but I've been analysing cryptocurrencies on a daily basis for many years now as well, and I noticed that cryptocurrencies behave like very extreme commodities. So this tendency for fourth waves to be more brief and shallow is even more pronounced in cryptocurrencies. So from this low on the 9th of December 2018 to this high on the 7th of November 2021 for Ethereum, this is very obviously a completed five-wave impulse. Okay, well it might be a correction, but I'm labeling it as a five-wave impulse. You could label it as a zigzag and make that fit, although I don't think it would have as good a fit, and this is why. As an impulse, you see intermediate wave 1, intermediate 2 lasted 36 sessions, intermediate 3 much, much longer, a strong extension ending with a very strong fifth wave. Minor 5 to end intermediate wave 3 is the strongest portion and it moves the greatest distance. You can't see it, it doesn't look as obvious because of the scale. The scale is a semi-log scale, but minor wave 5 is 3,061 in length. Minor wave 3 was 1,718, so not quite twice, but kind of close to twice the length of minor wave 3. It's exhibiting a Fibonacci ratio. It's 281 greater than 1.618, the length of minor wave 3. And so the fifth wave, to end the third wave 1 degree higher, is the strongest portion of this impulse. The strength of this fifth wave has forced intermediate 4, which comes just after, to be more brief and shallow, and then intermediate 5 is not as strong. The problem this person was pointing out is this proportion of minute wave 2 at 22 sessions compared to minute wave 4 at just 1 session is disproportionate, and so how can you label from this low to this high this movement as a five-wave impulse? That's a really good point. I'm only happy and really comfortable labeling it like that because I've repeatedly seen those fifth waves force the fourth wave that comes just before them to be more brief and shallow, giving the impulse a three-wave look with disproportion between second and fourth waves. And here in the example for XRP, it's minute wave 5. These two upward sessions of vertical upward movement, this strong upward pull, has forced minute wave 4 to be more brief and shallow than it would otherwise be, compared to its second wave correction of the same degree. Okay, moving on to the wave count for Ethereum today. The only thing to note here is I'm starting to add some labels for the 5-wave impulse of minuet wave C, looking for an end to minute wave 2, a combination W, X, Y, looking for Y to complete an expanded flat A, B, C, looking for C to complete most likely an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it has to meet all of those core Elliott Wave rules. 2 may not move beyond the start of 1, so if we see a new high above 2133.82, I would label minute wave 2 complete, not expect minute wave 3 up maybe unfolding, unless at the new high there was weakness in terms of momentum, volume, range, one or all of those three. If there's weakness, then I'd consider it's a continuation of a B wave. But if we see price close to a new high above this point with strength, then I'd label the second wave correction over. 3 must move beyond the end of 1, 4 has to unfold and may not move into wave 1 price territory, and then 5 usually moves beyond the end of 3. The target for support the same, 1876.56. Technicals on the daily for Ethereum, we might be seeing a little ascending triangle unfold. This structure here is too big now for a pennant pattern, and the upper line doesn't have a downward slope, which is required for a pennant. It doesn't fit as a flag either, and it's over 15 sessions, fairly substantially so. It's a bit big for one of those little short-term continuation patterns, but we could be seeing an ascending triangle unfold. Now, this could continue further. It's pretty early days for the structure. These structures usually take a little bit longer than this to continue, but we'll keep an eye on it. Here's the upper resistance line, very, very shallow slope, lower support line. It's only got about 4 tests, so not very good technical significance. We might need to redraw these lines. I'd expect an upward breakout, and when we get it, I'll use the measured rule for a target. The measured rule takes from this high to this low and adds that difference to the breakout point. And there's your target. So let's keep an eye on this possible ascending triangle and expect most likely an upward breakout. Ascending triangles are either continuation or reversal patterns, but they most commonly, I think 66% of the time, break out upward. So let's expect most likely an upward breakout. Price is consolidating still with resistance at 2,400 and support about 1880. Yesterday's upward session completed with weaker volume. Overall prices moving sideways as volume declines, typical behavior during a consolidation. On balance, volume is developing a range for Ethereum, but this has pretty poor technical significance. I want to see how this develops further, and then I might redraw the line. Actually, I might redraw the support line for better technical significance up along here. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So look for a break above the yellow resistance line or below the purple support line for a signal. ADX is now well back into neutral territory. This is excellent to see, starting to set itself up for a new signal, for a trend either way. If it can pull itself down below both DX lines, then it would be setting itself up for a really strong signal. So far, at this point in time, it's declining, indicating no clear trend. Price is consolidating. Let's expect overall a swing down to support until stochastics reaches oversold. XRP, the daily wave count, sees -1 over here, -2 over here as an expanded flat, -3 in its early days. This is an extremely bullish wave count. A third wave at minor, intermediate, primary and cycle degree is expected to have begun here. I'll be expecting an increase in upward momentum with support from volume and a strong increase in range and volatility for XRP over coming weeks and months. If -2 continues lower, it may not move beyond the start of 1 below 0.4456. Technicals for XRP, resistance at 62 cents has been unable to be broken in the last couple of weeks. If it moves lower, look for support at 55, 54 cents, or before that, the 55-day moving average. This bullish piercing pattern in the context of a downward trend or a short-term pullback indicates that this low of the 21st of November may remain intact. This adds a little bit of support to the Elliott Wave count. For the last week or so, though, prices essentially just been moving sideways in a really small range with pretty weak volume. So again, we need to wait for a breakout of this little range to have confidence in the direction of the next trend. The Elliott Wave count very strongly says that that breakout is likely to be upward. On balance, volume is tracing out a nice range as well for XRP. Watch this for a signal. ADX declining, now well out of danger territory, getting close to those DX lines of this consolidation or weakness and a little bit of sideways movement at the start of the third wave, which is pretty common. They do start out slow. If that continues for another week or two, it's going to be setting up ADX for a great signal. Stochastics reached oversold, price found support. Stochastics is moving up, price is moving up. Let's expect them to continue on higher together until price reaches resistance and stochastics reaches overbought. That's it from me with a quick update for you today, and I hope everybody is having a fantastic day.